Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Malaysia. We are here again with the Global Empowerment Summit. I'm muting you a little bit until the mic is getting used to each other. And I'm here with someone again who I'm really appreciate, and I love her because, of course, because we are all dancers. And we have so much in common. I got to know her a few years ago, and I'm really appreciating that she's sharing and yeah, we will get to know her better. You will get to know her better too. Today, I chose a topic that is really close to my heart, which is about dancing and the dancer's lifestyle. And I brought another dancer to the scene who will also confirm that dances can enrich your life in so many levels. So before we go there, don't forget that if you're watching this show on replay, then we have a game going on. And let me just show you the QR code. So if you read this QR code, then you can go to an application which we developed with Solworxs just for the GES, and you can rewatch the sessions, give us feedbacks, give us your aha moments, and you can get on a leaderboard and win prizes at the end of the year. So we gave you time to digest the 6 weeks. I know it was a lot of information, so take your time, take the piece, go through it, digest with the help of the application, and win something for yourself. So after the announcement, Ula, welcome in the studio. How are you today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. The sun is coming up. It's always bright on my face in the morning, so I'm taking the D vitamins through the windows now.
That's beautiful. I love it.
I love your plant. Do you like plants?
I do, yes. I like that they bring life into the room. I really like nature. Yeah.
So let's just start with the introduction. I love to start with the person story. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What you're doing, and how are your days nowadays?
Yeah, so I am a dancer, and I studied contemporary dance, and I've pretty much been dancing all my life. And now I'm currently studying to get a primary education degree because I've really fallen in love with the art and craft of teaching and seeing how I can combine teaching and the arts and dance and just bring that more into daily life. And that's pretty much what I do. And yeah, just moving to music, choreographing and having a good time by by sticking to my craft, by following my dreams and fulfilling that artistic need within me that I've always had, and really just living that. Yeah. Oh, I think you're muted, Andrea.
Sometimes I forget I have to warm up. I just had one coffee. So Tim, hi Tim, nice to see you. We will see him tomorrow because we are having an interview with Tim, and he's also our guest at the Global Empowerment Summit. Thank you for being here. So sticking to your craft, that was something that was sticking with me when you were talking, because it's so important. Many people, me myself included, we are not manipulated but led by others at the beginning of our lives, and it's kind of like it's influencing how we live life. What are we doing? I remember I always wanted to be a dancer, and then my mom came, no, you have to have a diploma of something, banking, economics, so I got it. And in the meantime I was doing dancing and I was competing, and it was kind of like a double life. And I so appreciate that you go for your dream and you are sticking to it and you say no. But is it hard, or was your family always supportive?
Yes to both. It is hard, but my family was always supportive. So I'm in a very I'm in a very, very grateful position where my family has always supported me in whatever I want to do, and they've always made sure to let me know that it is okay for me to choose my path, and it's okay for me to follow my dreams. Um, but they did say that whatever I pick, I need to pull through, and I can't just kind of halfway do it. So I also appreciate the push in that sense, that they said if you're going to do something, you're going to do it properly. So when I decided to become a dancer, I did it properly, and I went for a full out training, and that was hard because obviously there's like times where you want to quit, and there's times when you don't know if it's possible. But having that support system really helped in pulling through.
So being a modern dancer, right? Because it's like kind of like that part what you are doing. How does it look like to go through education, and how hard it is? Because I know that ballerinas are really suffering throughout their education. But is it the same for you as a modern dancer?
I mean, it's ups and downs. It was about 6 hours of training a day for 5 days a week. So we had ballet every day, and contemporary, and then jazz, and all kinds of different classes every day. It's hard on the body because going from just regular school where you just sit all day to when and you have maybe like 4 or 5 hours of training a week, apart like after school activities, and then going into full-time training. It's definitely a change for the body, and it does require almost a year to really get used to it. um, but having said that, the fulfillment that it brings on a soul level kind of just makes up for the physical pain. And I also feel like, even though I say physical pain, it's something that the body gets used to, and it gets so much stronger throughout, that it kind of goes from pain to strength, if that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
as you mentioned, physical pain, I would like to talk about this one because maybe we can just give some push to the parents to be brave enough to send the kids, because some parents are afraid that if they let the kid pursue dancing or any athletics or anything, that they are destroying their own body. But I believe there is a balanced way, right? It's you don't have to be afraid that you are pushing yourself too much when you are a sportsman or sportswoman. What would you say to the parents who are afraid of this part, and that's why they are discouraging the kids to choose this kind of profession?
Yeah. I understand the parents' point of view, because it can be scary, and injuries can happen. And that's just, injuries can happen every day. You can just trip and fall over and hurt yourself, right? But I understand where they're coming from, because a lot of the times when athletes or dancers train, we forget that there's a difference between training and training smart, right? So there's a way to train, and there's a way to take care of your body that doesn't require for you to hurt your body over a longer period of time. What happens when you're young and when you want to get ahead is that we tend to forget, or we tend to neglect our needs, and just pull through even when something hurts, and we're not taught to listen to our bodies. And so what I think is really important is to pick a program and to pick teachers that have experience and that respect people's bodies, and that respect and teach you as a young dancer, as a young athlete, to listen, and to stop when it is too much, or to understand recovery, and to have good doctors, good physios around that can help with whatever is going on. Because just like with anything in life, it's really about the management, and understanding how to take care of yourself. And I think that that is so important. And as an athlete, actually what you do is you learn to take care of yourself much earlier than normal, not normal, people who don't go into the athletic line, because at some point in life we have to take more care of our bodies, because if your health deteriorates, you can't do anything, right? So in a way, by pursuing athletic careers, you're almost forced to look at that much earlier, because you use your body so much more. So it's just a matter of doing it in a smart way. Yeah.
And then we didn't talk about the nutrition part because I believe there's something that I got to know. Like we tend to take care more about our body, right? It's like because this is our lives that we really take care of and fuel that body very correctly. What are the things that you are using to keep your body fit, or do you have morning routines or anything that you could suggest for the people to start, even if they are not dancing or not doing sports?
Mm, yeah, I not so much now at the moment, but what I found that it's more. I actually have more of an evening routine rather than a morning routine. At the end of the day, to stretch, to calm down, to just kind of be with me and my body, and just to listen, and um, to respect where it is and what it needs before I go to bed, just so that I'm not kind of like still all flailing around. And if there's anything hurting, or if there's anything that needs special attention, to give my foot a little massage, or to just like be there, be aware, respect what's going on, and to give it what it needs. And then I'm usually an evening routine then automatically takes care of the next morning, because if I go to bed feeling good and at peace with myself, then I usually wake up ready to go for the next day, whatever's going to happen. Yeah.
That's nice because we always talk about morning, and then it's good that we can also do it at our pace and choose one part of the day according to our rhythm, right? Because I believe it's your rhythm that you need some calming down during the night. Very, very good. So let's go further and explore this because this topic is so big, and it can be a long discussion. So let's start about the dancer lifestyle. How is it different to normal lifestyle? What do you think? What are the biggest differences between being a dancer and living a life as a dancer, and then someone who is not doing any kind of sports or something like us?
uh, Hard to say, because I don't know any other lifestyle than a dancer's lifestyle. But I think one of the biggest differences is just the time in the day of when you're doing things. Usually, dance happens at night. So ever since I started studying dance, even my dance studies, they started at 3 p.m. and ended at 9:30 p.m. So even though I am more of a morning person, I had to get used to just working my body and working myself at night rather than during the day. So I don't really know what it feels like to have a 9 to 5 job or to do anything 9 to 5, because I kind of left that behind after my school days. So it's very and often, like, you do things on the weekend, and it's a very volatile and very, I don't know, I can't find a word, but it's a very flexible schedule that you have to work with.
Improvise.
Improvised, yeah, improvised schedule, and like things just change, and you have to be ready to go and ready to change. And so I think that's one of the biggest differences. That, yeah.
Yeah, I would say also the discipline. I don't know whether you have this, but it's like so strict. When I was competing, I remember like every single second day we were in the sports room, we were practicing. In the weekend we went to compete. It was like this roller coaster all the time, like going and training and learning more and training and competing. And it's kind of like
Yeah.
teaching you a lot of discipline and a lot of strategy, because otherwise you cannot really survive, right?
Yes, that is very true. Discipline is a big part of it. If you got to stick to it, you got to stick to it. There's no giving up. There's no quitting. Um, when you're tired, you still show up. You still do it. You got to show up for your peers and for your team. And I think that's a big part about being a dancer is it's teamwork. It's never, unless you're choreographing your own solo and doing it all by yourself, which isn't usually the case. you always have people that depend on you, or you depend on people. So I think learning to be a team player and to be kind and to nurture those values is a very big part of being a dancer. And so just also being, oh, and that's something that goes into my evening routine, is that being aware of yourself and who you are as a person and who you want to be as a person and what kind of message you want to share with the world, not just through your craft as dancing, but also everything in between, how you talk to people, how you communicate, how you act. Because if you act out of line, if you are unkind, there goes your opportunity. It's not just about the dance, it's not just about the spotlight, it's about so much more. And I almost want to say that while the dance is important, everything around it is even more important.
And it's something that we see that some of the dancers who are getting on the top, right? They are kind of compromising their values because of the fame or because of the stage, and they happen to change their life on not such a nice way because of this. Because they just want the fame, they want to be there, and then at the end they are forgetting about everything else. Why they started dancing at the beginning. So let's go further explore. And I just wanted to ask you, have you ever competed? Have you ever done anything else than dance? So these two questions, have you ever done competitions and how was it? And the second one, have you ever done any kind of sport outside dancing?
Yes, I have competed, as in competed in dance, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I used to compete in ballroom and Latin back when I was younger. That's how I started. So I went for a couple of competitions there. This was during my school days, um, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun because it was like going on road trips with your partner, and then you compete, you do all the makeup and all the glamour, and but obviously all the training before that. So it's a very interesting process. I enjoy it very much, but I haven't competed in a long time. So yeah, now I'm more focused on choreographing. I actually haven't performed in a while, just because I enjoy the process of being creative and choreographing a little bit more now than the performance part of it. In terms of having done anything other than dance, other sports, no. I mean, I used to just play basketball and badminton just for fun, but not. I haven't taken any other sport seriously. The only other thing that I've taken seriously and that I really love doing is public speaking. So I used to be in a public speaking club, and I competed in public speaking competitions, and done public speaking trainings and stuff like that. So that's kind of the other part of me that I really enjoy.
And
Yeah.
how did you find dancing? I always remember that my mom was pushing me to do everything. Like I was such a busy student. Like I had to go to I was playing piano, I was doing even taekwondo, I was running, I was in dispute or debating teams. I cannot even list all the things that I did. And then dance was sticking to me because that was my thing when I heard the rhythm and all the things around it. But how did you find dancing? When was the first time you felt connected?
I found it by watching Dancing with the Stars. It's a US based series in which you always have one celebrity and one professional dancer paired up, and then they dance for a season, and it's a competition. They do ballroom and Latin, like all kinds of ballroom and Latin styles, right? So the idea is to get celebrities dancing and make a show out of it, and it's pretty fun. So when I watched that, I kind of fell in love with the glamour and the technique of ballroom and Latin, which is why that's what I started with. So I was about 14, and then I started ballroom and Latin dancing, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, I want to be a professional. I want to be like one of the professionals on the show. And then I met a dancer from the US who told me, well, if you want to be a professional, you have to start ballet. And so when I was 16, I took my first ballet class. And kind of from then on, I was hooked. And I always thought I would go the ballroom Latin direction, but then I moved more into contemporary. But yeah, that's how it started. I started really late. for a dancer?
Yeah, I wanted to ask this one because people are a little bit afraid of this one too. Like, oh, I'm too old for dancing. Oh, I can, these ones. Like they always say, oh, I cannot dance.
Yeah.
I have never. I don't have rhythm. I don't know how to do it. So, what was it for you that made you so confident that okay, let's do it? Like, was it someone pushing you, or it was like an internal motivation that you really wanted to do it?
No, I just really loved it. I still love it. That's the reason why I do it. I just have such like for me, dance is a part of me. If I don't dance for 2 or 3 days, then I feel my entire energy drop. I need to move. I need to feel the music. It's just such an integral part of me that I can't imagine life without it. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've had and for being able to follow my dream and for having people support me to do so. And also, I'm really proud of my own courage for being able to go for it because I don't know what I would do if I hadn't. Um, so, yeah.
I love the passion, and we are so similar. I mean, this part is every dancer has this because everyone is like asking, where do you have that energy? But I believe when once you found your passion, it will fuel also all the other parts of your life, right? It's not just dance, which is your passion that will be fueled by your energy. But once you do what you love, then this passion will just accelerate everything in your life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sanj is here too. Hi, Sanj. He's dancing kizomba. Yes, dance is life physically, mentally, and spiritually. True, totally true. And we will get to this topic. But before we get there, I have written down something about the choreographies and the team sport. Like also in life it's so hard to explain people how they can communicate better, how they can align, how they can work together better. But when I come from the dancing angle and I explain them from that angle, then they start to understand how does it work and how is this human connection and how they can make it better. Because you are choreographing and you are working with a lot of people, I saw beautiful videos. Please check out Elavice on Facebook, and then you will see the dancing choreographies that she did in KL. It was beautiful to see you guys, and it was just a beautiful work and dynamism how the people are working in modern dancing, like when you do contemporary, it's kind of the flow what you see. So how do you make sure that the people can really align while they are doing the choreography? How, as a choreographer, how do you reach that stage that the people are really flowing together?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think every choreographer has their own path of getting there, and their own kind of like strategies. I I generally work with dancers that I know personally because I think it's a very personal, just working together and being in a team, in a dance team. It requires a lot of, it requires a lot from the dancers to put in their personal feelings, their personal experiences. And so, first of all, what I need to do is make sure that everybody kind of gets to know each other and feels comfortable with each other. So the first few rehearsals are always based on like trust exercises, on improvising together. So it doesn't normally just go into bang bang. Okay, let's start. Boom. That. So that's not how it starts. It's just it's a very organic process. Just like when you get to know somebody, you don't just immediately talk about in-depth stuff, or you start with little things. You start to get to know each other, you share your thoughts, your opinions, and you kind of test the water. And I think that's the same way it happens with dance, and then it just kind of happens organically. So not to force anything or to push anything to happen, but just to see where the dancers are at. And the beautiful thing about choreographing contemporary dance is that when you start, you don't know where it's going to end, how it's going to end. You kind of work with what every dancer brings to the table and see how can you honor every person's personality, every person's integrity and dance style, and how can you even though it'll be my choreography and my piece, I don't really like that, saying that it's just my piece, because it's not just mine. It is every single person puts in their essence. And so in the end, it's almost like you have this beautiful end product that is a collaboration of everybody, of everybody's input, of everybody's energy, of everybody's magic, and it comes together in a way to create something that I could have never created by myself. Like, it's always a collaboration with the entire team. And that's why I say dance is teamwork. It's not, you might have a choreographer that puts it all together, but if you think that it was just a choreographer doing it all, then that's just not true, because every choreography will be different depending on who the dancers are. And that's the beauty about dance. You always get to bring a part of yourself in it. And it's not one single person responsible for the outcome.
So in the process of choreographing, you are having a kind of a vague idea when you get there, right? So this is the feel, this is the mood, what I want to express. And then you let them dance, let them explore the music, and then you choose some movements, or then you start to create the choreography. How does this work, the process of creation?
It's a little bit different every time. So it depends very much on the piece. It depends on what it's for and how much time we have. But in general, I like to pick the music first, just because then I have a general idea of where it goes and I have a theme. And then I explore. We talk, we dance, we reflect on the process. And then kind of seeing from the dynamic of how the dancers work together, then I start from there. And sometimes I have specific movements in mind, sometimes I don't. I'm currently training to trust my intuition more. So what I want to do more of, and what I started doing, is just to go with what my intuition says, rather than being, oh, this is what people want to see, this is what I should be doing, this is how it should be. And so by following my intuition, every process is different, and I'm certainly not perfect at it. And it's not an easy process to let go and to trust, but it's something that I'm practicing.
And many people saying, like, psychologically and also spiritually and mentally, it's really good to do improv things, like the improv theaters, the improv dancing, improvisation, because they say it's a personal development path that you start when you are starting something like this. Have you ever improvised, like, totally without any pre-preparations, like just going in a stage and just doing what it feels like to dance on that specific music?
Have I done it on stage? I'm not sure. I can't recall a stage improvisation performance. Not like on a stage, but we've had like improv. Yeah, we've had improv performances in the studio, or like for smaller audiences, or just for each other in class. So it's definitely a big part of my practice, and it's a big part of the process. So yes, I do love improv, and I do it a lot. And a lot also by myself, just for myself without an audience, because that's what fills my heart.
We can also talk about what Sanj was mentioning, the physical, mental, and spiritual side of dancing, because it's also very interesting. And you are studying now for becoming more like using dance and art more in lives. And this is actually also a profession, like being a dance and art therapist and helping people through dancing so that they are improving their lives. What do you say is dance giving to people on a physical level first? Let's just go there. Like, what's happening if you become a dancer after a few months of doing it physically with you?
I mean, it improves your physique. It improves your stamina and your strength, definitely. By dancing, and dancing properly, there's again, technique is so important. If you just dance and flail around, then you just end up hurting yourself. But if you dance properly with the correct technique and really are mindful about it, and I think this is where we can't really separate the physical and the mind.
Mhm.
If you're mindful about your dance practice, you'll become stronger. Your stamina increases. You'll see your body, your muscles, specific muscle groups grow. Your ankles get stronger. Your joints get stronger, and the your posture improves, and the way I can immediately tell if somebody is a dancer by the way they walk into the room. So it changes your physique on such a level that it changes the way you carry your body. Yeah.
That's really true. I'm just remembering all these dancers, especially in ballroom and ballet. It's so strong. Like even on the men, especially on the men, I would say, because women are okay. They want to look good, so they are kind of like stretching themselves. But men, it's really really different when I see a man who is dancing and I see someone who never danced. The posture and the straightness of the spine and how they carry themselves, even if they are a little bit overweight, but if they were dancing, then they are, pulling
Yeah.
themselves up, and then you just don't see anything because you just see a strong, good looking man standing up straight, and it's such a difference. Let's go further to the mental part. You already touched a little bit on it, that we need the conscious mind to not hurt ourselves and to really improve better. You need to be aware. But it's also making us aware in other parts of the life, right? About everything, the environment where we are living in. So,
Yeah.
what do you think dance gives on the mindful level, on mental level to people?
Well, it dance is an amazing way of becoming more mindful of ourselves and our surroundings. It's when you dance, you have to be aware of the space you're moving in, right? You don't want to crash into walls or into your furniture or anything. So that's really where it starts, is that kind of awareness of moving our body. If we think about it, especially during lockdown, for somebody who works on their laptop, how much do you really move, from your bed to the kitchen to get your coffee, to your laptop, to maybe the TV, and then back to bed? And it's just like we have become so unaware of where we're walking in space, and how we're walking, how fast are you going, that we kind of become unconscious about what we do and where we go. So through dance, you can't really be unconscious of it. You have to be very conscious of it, because otherwise you'll hurt yourself. Or if you're moving with other people in a space, you might crash. So that spatial awareness is mentally, it makes you stronger. And I am a very strong advocate of being going through the world aware, going through the world mindfully, because the more mindful we are, the more reflective we are of what we're doing, of where we're going, of who we are, of how we carry ourselves, the more mindful and we will treat other people, the more mindful we treat the world. And I think especially now during all the turbulence that is going on, we need to stick together, and we need to respect each other, and we need to be there for each other. And I find that dancers specifically, they have a sense of reflecting, they have a sense of that awareness that helps with all of the things beyond dance. Dance is just it's in a way so little, and it's everything at the same time. People think it's just what you see on stage, but to be a dancer, it means so much more. It requires you to be physically active. It requires you to really engage with your mind. If your mind is not present, you won't even remember steps. In terms of memory, it improves memory. It requires math skills. I'm so bad at math, but you have to map out things. It's like this mapping out, counting. There's so many things that come together that it's really hard to point all of it out. I'm only realizing now as well how much it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just opening the door to a totally different universe with more
Yeah,
aware people and conscious people, and it's like living. But what everyone is talking about, I don't know whether you had the same feeling, like mindfulness and being the now, and then we are like, yeah, we are there. I mean, when you do your dance and when you are on the stage, you cannot be anywhere else, just there at that
yeah,
moment, because you have to focus on that moment. It's really, it's a different mindset, but it's already what every coach is teaching to people, right? To be there at that single moment and to live life as it is. And so it's just a beautiful word. But we don't convince you to go and do dancing. If you like dancing, if you have a little bit of spirit in you that tells you you should try, then just don't be afraid to try. I think that's what we're trying to show you with Ula here, because everyone has a different style, everyone has a different feeling, everyone has a different passion. But if you feel like your body is moving with the music every time you hear something, then there is a chance that you are a musician or you are a dancer, right?
absolutely.
So, and I also remember there is one story that I just wanted to tell, that about the being aware of your environment. Like, I remember all those different competitions in the barroom when I went to, and it was so funny, and like a teamwork with my couple, my partner, that we were like, okay, there's someone. Then you did this little movement, or just, hold the person back because we didn't bump, or in the meantime you were checking the judges around, where are they, where where you have to smile and do a little trick just to make them recognize you. So it's kind of like you recognize everything in that moment, right? You recognize the breath, you recognize the environment, the light, the music, and
Yeah,
that's why I say that we can multitask. I mean, dancers are real multitaskers, because you move, you smile, you are aware, you send messages, you receive messages, the intentions from the partners. So it's kind of like real time multitasking. At the same moment, you do so many things, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So Sanji is saying, I discovered that I began to understand my own body and the intricacies that I never was aware that I never got in any other form of physical activity. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that's the truth. So going further, the spiritual part. Everyone is getting a little bit more spiritual today, maybe because of what's happening. Maybe it's just the time for humanity to become more spiritual. What did you get from dancing on a spiritual level?
I think that's where it kind of like connects back to passion and to purpose, maybe, is that it just, when I dance and when I have the opportunity to share that with people, I just feel like I am walking or dancing in my path of purpose, so to speak. It's a way for me to connect with who I really am and who I want to be, and I get to. I feel like I am in my truest self. And it's hard to explain. Like, I mean, spirituality, it can be defined in different ways. It really depends on the person, and maybe to some extent mindfulness can be pulled into that as well. But just and being center with who I am, and in finding my own authenticity. And it's something that, I'm still very much discovering, is who am I really and who do I want to be. But by expressing that through the dancing, that's what helps me find it. And I know that everybody's very different, but I can't, as much as I try to, I can't sit and meditate for half an hour. It just hurts my brain. I can't do it, but I can improvise and just move for half an hour, or I can share the space with somebody else and move together. I can go for back-to-back dance classes, and that being in the moment and that concentration on that one thing. I don't think about my phone. I don't think about other people. It's just me, the movement, the music, and the dance. And if there's other people, then the other people in the room. And that to me is a certain alignment that makes me feel good. Now, if you want to call that spirituality, I don't know, but I that is definitely when I feel the most aligned with myself, my surroundings, and the world. So yeah.
I think someone was mentioning earlier that, all right, we cannot, because we are hyper, we want to dance, we want to move around, but so we cannot meditate. But for us, kind of like dance is the meditation, right? It can be compared with someone sitting and thinking. When we are in this flow moment, right, of dancing, then it's kind of like everything disappears and we are all aligned. I want to also talk about the flow. I don't know whether, I'm sure that you checked it, are you sure that you read about it, and I'm sure that you also experienced it. So what is flow for you, and how could you describe? Because I'm trying to help people to understand that when you have a passion and when you are doing it, you get into a state of mind, which Csikszentmihalyi called it flow, which is a state that will always motivate you. If you find that once, it will always bring you the motivation naturally, because you always want to be in that flow moment when you forget about everything. So have you experienced it? And how would you describe the flow?
Do you mean when like you're in like
In
that
full
feeling where you're
alignment,
just
like in full alignment while dancing, and you feel the energies. I sometimes got even goosebumps, when you are dancing with the music, you are totally harmony with your body, you are just forgetting about everything, and you are just in that very small bubble of yours, in that
yeah,
moment
yeah.
with the
I think I,
movement.
I think I know what you mean. It's kind of like when I try and choreograph and I choreograph with my mind. I'm like, oh, this would look cool. This is what people would like. This is what I should do. And then I do maybe like one count of 8, so maybe like 4 or 5 movements, and then I'm stuck. Right. And that's when I'm choreographing out of flow because I'm choreographing based on what I think people want. But I think the word here is surrender.
Mhm.
When I surrender to the moment and I let go of what I think people want, and I just let my heart and my just my inner flow come out, and that whatever feels good, and I think that allowing, that surrendering, not in a negative way, but more in a, okay, I'm going to allow for whatever is right in this moment to come. That is when I find myself, oh, bam, 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 it just happens, and then I don't have to think about it. So in a way, it's almost like a switching off of the mind.
Mhm.
It's the courage to let the mind, um, to not let the mind be in control. And yeah, I think that's what flow means to me, or that's how I've experienced it. I'm not in flow all the time. On the contrary, I'm out of flow most of the time, just because there's a lot going on in the world where you're always wanting to fit in and always wanting to belong, and caring about what everybody else thinks, and that's a big struggle, I'm not gonna lie. So those moments where I am in flow, it feels like freedom and it feels like release, and I definitely think that, or I'm in the process of trying to find ways to come into that flow state more, because it's good for you. It feels good. And I think that if we were all more in flow with our own passion, and it doesn't have to be dance, I think flow can be found in anything in life, then we would just be more at peace, because we wouldn't be worrying so much about all of the like emotional drama and everything that's going on. And I kind of just wish that we'd be taught to have the courage to do that from a very young age, because learning it later on is hard.
So let's spread flow together. Let's give it to the
Yeah.
people. I would really love to do that. So it's something magical that I experienced many times throughout competition, throughout just a small practice, or even when I remember the first time I danced tango, Argentine tango in Budapest. I was like, always seeing tango. I'm also emotional now. It's the whole flow is coming here, right? Because I reliving the memory because I was dancing. So it's kind of like dance is always bringing out my emotions. And I
Yeah.
went to an old cinema with a beautiful, like beautiful decoration. It was like back in the 20s. And I really dressed up. I was in black and red rose and everything. This is what was the
Oh
first
my.
ever time I was dancing tango, because before I was just doing ballroom dancing. And I remember I sat down, I took my little coffee, like in the like in the movies. I really wanted to live this moment. And then I had magical dance. Also, I haven't done anything. I had one or two classes before, but it was such a beautiful experience. So I would really encourage people, like you said, to try to find these little moments in life, whether it's about just going out with friends, whether it's about playing basketball, whether it's about running or anything, that you allow yourself to let the control go away. Like, just let your body and your mind have a peaceful moment when it's just doing what it has to do. And I
Yeah.
believe it's coming to us, like we experience it, you experienced it. So that's why I wanted you to explain, because it's
And
not coming to all the people, and it's really beautiful when it's happening, right?
exactly, exactly. And if I can just add to that, because I'm seeing the title, The Young and the Wise, just to like connect to that. If you look at the people who have the most flow, it is usually the young and the wise. It is the really little kids that are just in the moment, playing, doing whatever, doing their like imaginary games, talking to each other. They can be so invested in whatever they're doing, and it's inspirational by surrounding yourself with children. um, that's a really great way to find your flow. And just like trying to find out like how, and like playing with them,
Yeah.
and engaging in that. And then the wise, like the elderly, they have so much life experience. And I sometimes talk to I have a really good friend. She must almost be 80 by now, but I haven't talked to her in a while. And I used to go out for coffee with her, because she has so much life experience that she's like, oh my God, all this drama that people go through in their 20s and 30s and 40s, she's just like, it's not what life is about. And like, it was so interesting to talk to her about it, because she just saw life from such a peaceful perspective, where she's just like, just enjoy that coffee, like that, enjoy that moment, all of these moments. And just being with her, um, like made me feel at peace. So I think that by spending time with the young and the wise, and seeing life from their perspective, it just shows us also how much overthinking we do in the
Yep.
middle, because of everything. And it's not our own fault. It's just the way that life is, and the way that the world is shaped at the moment. But it's good sometimes to take yourself out of that perspective, and to look at life through a child's eye, or through an elderly person's eye, because they have a very interesting perspective.
I love this. Let the inner child dance. Let the inner child do the things. They are so brave at that age. They are not afraid of anything. I remember when they are the little ballet dancers, when they are turning, they are just turning, 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 falling. Okay, standing up, turning, turning, turning. It reminds me on the Slovakian skiers, the little kiddos who are like just like having a helmet and then like
Yeah.
going down with a 120 kilometer per hour without fear on the mountain. Sanji's having a question. He's very active. So social partner dance taught me, allow for your partner's differences, as they have come from a different journey to this experience. Oftentimes what may not be working can be fixed by working on myself than be blaming my partner. Very, very true. That's self-reflection. That's what we learn. And then he has a question, which is, I think, your question, because you are a contemporary dancer. So I believe you have more freedom and technique to do this. Like, is it possible to dance without music?
Absolutely, it is. I didn't think it was when I started my contemporary dance journey, but then we were sometimes asked to dance without music, and I'm like, when is the music coming? When is the music coming? But the great thing about dancing without music is you have to rely on your inner rhythm, and you get to create your own inner rhythm. So sometimes what I do is I go on a walk, and then I don't, when I forget my music, or I don't have music with me, and I'm just like, starting a beat in my mind, and then I'm just like, and I start moving my hand, and I like creating my own little dance, and then people look at me, I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, and they're like, what is she doing, you know? And then I do that without music, or just like sometimes if something tough is going on and I need to dance it out and there's no music nearby, it's actually really good to create your own rhythm and to see, okay, what's in you right now, rather than being stimulated by a piece of music. Because music has its own emotion, it has its own feel. And depending on what kind of music is playing, obviously you can either go against it by dancing completely different than the style of the music, which is also contemporary dance, or you can follow the style of the music. But in either way, the music somehow dictates what you're going to do. By dancing without music, you're in control. Or you completely surrender and let whatever is inside come out, which is also very therapeutic. So yes, it is possible to dance without music. And if you're looking at dancing with a partner, just that follow and lead of what's going on, then you're not just going by what your inner rhythm is saying, but you can actually dance with your partner and what their rhythm is saying, and that's a whole other experience in itself, which can be very beautiful. Yeah,
beautiful. Time just flies in good company, and we are so much aligned that I could speak forever, but we have to stop the interview. I would just say that if you want to see and experience this inner music, what we are talking about, yesterday I was watching a movie someone was recommending to me. It's called Arthur Rush, and it's an older movie, and it's not about dancing, but it's about music and how music is coming from inside. And it was very, very cute movie to explain you how things like dancing, your passion, even cooking is coming from inside. And if you really believe in it, then it will take you to your dreams. So kind of like that's the short teaser of the movie. So Arthur Rush, if you would like to watch something. And thank you, Danielle, for recommending it. It was really, really nice.
amazing.
So Ula, at the end of this interview, just a quick recap. Where can people reach you? Do you have any site where they can follow you and your dancing? Where could they watch your work?
I think the best place is Instagram. That's where I'm most active. So you can find me there. I think if you just type in my name, you should be able to find me. Yeah.
So thank you very much for this morning interview. I was really happy. Hopefully we will find each other again. And once you are ready with all your studies, then we can meet again and have some fun and try to improvise together. I'm really looking forward to it, because I remember last year we were planning to meet before everything happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do it. And I wishing you a beautiful day. And Sanj is also saying thank you so much. So inspired to see people incorporate dance into the life. Thank you, Sanj, for being here with us. And thank you also, Jack, for tuning in, and Tim. It was really nice to have you here. And if you're watching it on replay, please play with us, please collect points and learn with us. There are so many things to watch. We are coming up soon with Nigesh. And after that, we have a workshop with Nur Farisia about how to train and develop a growth mindset. And then we will have Arman Rashid about very interesting topic as a man, postpartum depression. What can men do? It's kind of like a new perspective. And then later we have Eric about how being creative with data can help you and understanding data. And we have also another workshop coming up with Embrin, how to find your true passion. So today is the passion day.
That is amazing. I just want to say at this point also, thank you so much, Andrea, for all of the hard work you've put into this, and for connecting us and giving us the opportunity to share. I think it's really important to talk about all of these things that you just mentioned, and I think you're amazing. So you inspire a lot of people, and you inspire me, and thank you for that.
You too inspire me to go further and to pursue my passion and dance more.
Let's dance soon.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you very much, Ula. Have a beautiful day. I wish you a beautiful morning, and see you very, very soon.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Goodbye.